They say a dead man's memories are silent. They're wrong. And the ones I just stole, they're screaming. The job was supposed to be simple. In and out. A quick dip into the fading consciousness of a corporate scientist, skim a little data off the top, and sell it to the highest bidder in the sump. Easy credits. But what I pulled out wasn't just data. It was a memory, raw, unfiltered. And it was bleeding terror all over my own mind. That's the problem with my particular talent. I don't just watch memories, I feel them. Now, I'm running. Rain, thick and acidic, slicks the grimy alleyways of Aethelburg's lower sectors. It hisses where it hits the glowing neon signs, their lurid colors painting my face as I vault over a pile of rusted-out drone parts. Behind me, the heavy, rhythmic thud of mag boots on pavement. Omni-Gen Enforcers. They're not cops. They're corporate janitors, and their job is to clean up messes like me. My heart is a frantic drum against my ribs, a rhythm that says too late, too late, too late. The memory I stole is burning a hole in my psyche. It's not just schematics or passcodes. It's a face. A woman with eyes the color of a storm-tossed sea. And a location. A place I'd never heard of. The Archive of Whispers. I risk a glance back. Two of them. Hulking silhouettes in black polymer armor, visors glowing a dead, impassive red. They don't run. They just advance. A relentless, inevitable tide. I duck into a noodle stall, the smell of synthetic broth and ginger filling my lungs, and shove my way through the beaded curtain out back. Another alley. More rain. I'm cornered. A high-frequency whine makes my teeth ache as one of them raises a pulse rifle. I can almost feel the air sizzling, preparing to turn me into a memory for someone else to steal. And then, a voice. Soft, but clear. Cutting through the downpour from a fire escape above. This way, Ghostwalker, if you want to live. I look up. It's her. The woman from the dead scientist's memory. Her face is pale, framed by dark hair plastered to her skin by the rain. She's not afraid, just waiting. The enforcers are closing in. A dead end below, or a mystery woman above. Some choice. With a desperate leap, I grab the corroded ladder and pull myself up, the metal groaning in protest. As I reach her level, she doesn't offer a hand. She just turns and disappears through an open window. I scramble after her, tumbling into a room that smells of old paper, ozone, and dust. The last thing I hear before the window slams shut is the frustrated roar of an enforcer and the sizzle of a pulse blast scorching the brick where my head had been seconds before. The room is dark, lit only by the flickering neon jungle outside. Shelves groan under the weight of actual physical books. In a city where everything is data, this room is an antique. A relic. The woman stands by a table, her silhouette a stark cutout against the city lights. "You're Kael," she says. It's not a question. "They call you the dream thief." I'm still catching my breath, my mind a tangled mess of my own fear and the dead scientist's terror. "Who are you? How did you know I'd be here?" She turns and those stormy eyes pin me in place. "My name is Elara. And I didn't know you'd be here. I knew he would send you." She nods toward the window. "Dr. Aris, the man whose mind you just plundered. He sent you to me. This is all wrong. I'm a scavenger, a bottom feeder living off the psychic scraps of the dead. I don't get involved in corporate espionage. I don't do whatever this is. Look, I just want my credits," I manage. The words sounding weak even to me. This is way above my pay grade. Elara's lips press into a thin, sad line. "There are no credits for this job, Kael. Dr. Aris knew Omni-Gen was coming for him. He knew they'd find me eventually. He embedded my face and this location into his surface thoughts as a beacon, an SOS. He was hoping a person with your unique skills would find it." My head is spinning. Skills? I'm a ghoul. I rob corpses of their last coherent thoughts. No, she says, her voice intense, leaning forward. You do more than that. You don't just see the memories, you feel them. You experience them. That's why he chose you. Outside, a searchlight sweeps across the window, momentarily flooding the room with stark white light. We both freeze. Omni-Gen isn't just a corporation, Kael, she whispers, her voice barely audible over the rain. They're memory farmers. They've spent decades curating the city's history, editing out anything inconvenient. They pacify the population by replacing genuine experience with manufactured nostalgia. Most people don't even know what they've lost. They live in a state of placid, comfortable ignorance. She gestures to the books, the artifacts, the sheer physicality of the room. I'm a remembrancer. We preserve what they try to erase, the truth. I shake my head, backing away. This isn't my fight. I don't care about the truth. I care about staying alive. A flicker of disappointment crosses her face. Dr. Aris wasn't just a scientist. He was my father. He died trying to protect something they want more than anything else. He hid it, and he left me the key to finding it. But now that you've seen my face inside his head, you're part of it. Your psychic signature is all over that memory. To Omni-Gen, you're not just a thief anymore. You're a co-conspirator. They won't stop hunting you. The cold reality of her words sinks in. She's right. My life as a ghost in the machine is over. I'm a target now, a loose end to be snipped. What is it? I ask, the words tasting like ash. What did your father die to protect? Elara walks over to a heavy iron-bound chest in the corner of the room. She runs her hand over the intricate carvings. A memory. The very first one. The keystone. It's the unaltered memory of Aethelburg's founder, from the day the city was born. It contains a promise, a truth about what this city was meant to be, before Omni-Gen twisted it into a gilded cage. She looks at me, and for the first time, I see a glimmer of fear in her eyes. And you're the only one who can open it. My laugh is harsh and humorless. What? Why me? Because it's not locked with a key, she says, her voice dropping. It's locked with an emotion, a specific, complex feeling that my father encoded as the lock, a feeling of profound loss, mingled with defiant hope. He believed only someone who walks the paths of the dead, someone who feels the echoes of what's been lost. Only you could resonate with it. So that was it. My curse was the key. My morbid talent was the one thing that could unlock the city's salvation. The enforcers were still out there. My old life was gone. I look at Elara, at the impossible weight she carries in her steady gaze, and I feel the ghost of her father's terror mixing with a strange new feeling in my own gut. It's not hope. Not yet. But it's something close. Okay, I hear myself say. Let's go see about a ghost. The journey to find the keystone was a descent, a plunge through the forgotten layers of Aethelburg. Elara led the way, a phantom in her own city, guiding me through maintenance tunnels that hummed with ancient power and across rusted sky bridges that groaned under our weight. She moved with a quiet confidence that belied the constant danger nipping at our heels. We were being hunted. We could feel it. The city's surveillance systems, all controlled by Omni-Gen, were like a billion unblinking eyes, and we were a glitch in their perfect code. We ate synth protein bars that tasted of nothing and drank filtered rainwater that still carried the metallic tang of the sky. In the quiet moments, huddled in the hollowed-out husk of an old transit car, she told me about her life, about growing, up in secret, learning the true histories from her father, memorizing the faces and stories of people the world had been forced to forget. She wasn't a warrior. She'd never held a weapon. Her strength was in her memory, a vast internal library of a world that no longer existed. They think memory is a weakness, she told me one night, her face illuminated by the eerie glow of phosphorescent moss. A thing to be controlled. But it's not. It's who we are. It's the anchor that keeps us from drifting away. I, on the other hand, had spent my life trying to drift. I'd learned to wall off the residual emotions I skimmed from my clients, to treat their dying moments as nothing more than a resource. But with Elara, the walls started to crumble. I told her about the first time I realized I was different. A kid, no older than 10, finding a stray dog that had been hit by a transport. When I touched it, I felt its final, bewildered moments, not just saw them, but felt the fading warmth, the confusion, the sudden, shocking peace. It terrified me. I had run from that feeling my whole life, and now I was running toward it. Omni-Gen's presence was everywhere. Propaganda hollows flickered, on every corner, showing smiling families enjoying pristine parks that didn't exist, their contentment a lie manufactured in a lab. Squads of enforcers patrolled the main thoroughfares, their red visors a constant reminder of the city's invisible prison. Elara guided us to an abandoned data haven, a place where information brokers once peddled secrets before Omni-Gen monopolized the trade. The keystone isn't in a physical place, she explained, her breath misting in the cold air. My father converted it to pure psychic energy and hid it in the one place Omni-Gen could never fully control, the EchoNet. The EchoNet, the city's digital graveyard. When a person died, their data ghost, a faint imprint of their digital life, was flushed into this chaotic, unstructured network. It was a howling wilderness of forgotten emails, fragmented memories, and broken code. A place I knew all too well. It was where I did my hunting. He hid it inside a specific data ghost, Elara continued, pulling a small, intricate device from her pack. It looked like a compass, but the needle was a shard of crystal that glowed with a faint inner light. This will lead us to the right ghost, but to retrieve the keystone, you'll have to go in. You'll have to sync with the ghost and pull the memory out from the inside. Syncing with a ghost is suicide, I said, the words flat and cold. Their consciousness is fractured. It can tear a living mind apart. My father knew the risks, she said, her voice soft. He built a fail-safe, a tether. I can't go in with you, but I can use this to anchor your consciousness. As long as the connection holds, I can pull you back. She held out the device. Do you trust me? I looked at her, at the fierce determination in her eyes, and the question felt redundant. In this city of lies, she was the only thing that felt real. I took the device. Let's go wake the dead. We found him in the digital wreckage of what was once the Grand Observatory. His data ghost was a faint, shimmering presence, clinging to the phantom code of a star chart. He had been an astronomer, one of the last before Omni-Gen declared the stars a source of public anxiety and replaced the sky with a permanent, light pollution-proof projection of calm, blue perfection. Elara set up the anchor, its crystal glowing brighter as it synced with my neural interface. I'll be right here, she said, her hand briefly touching my shoulder. The contact was warm, solid, an anchor in the real world. I closed my eyes, took a deep breath, and dove in. The world dissolved into a screaming cascade of static and light. It was like being thrown into a television tuned to a dead channel, but every speck of snow was a fragment of a life. I fought against the disorienting pull, focusing on the astronomer's faint signal. And then I was through. I was standing under a night sky so clear and bright it stole my breath. Billions of stars. The Milky Way, a brilliant shimmering slash across the velvet black. The astronomer stood beside me, not as a ghost, but as he was in his strongest memory. He was old, with kind eyes, and he pointed a trembling finger upwards. They took this from us, he whispered, his voice a rustle of dry leaves. They told us to look down, at our screens. They didn't want us to remember how small we are, and how vast our dreams could be. And then I felt it, hiding behind his awe, his sadness. A different memory, nested within his own like a secret treasure, the keystone. I reached for it with my mind, and the world fractured. Alarms blared. The beautiful night sky dissolved into crimson warning signs. Intrusion detected. System compromised. Omni-Gen knew. They had been waiting, using the ghost as bait, a trap. The astronomer's gentle presence was ripped away, replaced by something cold and sharp and utterly inhuman. A digital construct, an eraser program. It lunged for me, its form a chaotic vortex of corrupted code. I felt a violent pull, Elara trying to pull me out, but the eraser had me, its tendrils sinking into my consciousness, trying to rip the keystone from my grasp. "Forget," it hissed, its voice the sound of deleting files. It is easier to forget. The pain was immense. My own memories started to fray at the edges. My name, my past, the taste of real food, the feeling of rain on my skin. All of it being targeted for deletion. But then, through the pain, I felt something else. The keystone. It wasn't just a memory, it was a torrent of pure, undiluted emotion. The founder, standing on the hill where the city would be built. The overwhelming, crushing loss of the world that had come before. And the fierce, burning, impossible hope for the world he was about to create. The very emotions Elara had described, loss and hope. And in that moment, I didn't just understand the key, I became it. I stopped fighting the eraser. Instead, I opened my mind to the keystone, letting that raw, powerful feeling flood every part of my consciousness. My loss. Elara's loss. The city's loss. And the defiant, stubborn hope that we could get it all back. The eraser recoiled, its synthetic nature unable to process the sheer chaotic humanity of the emotion. The code that held it together began to unravel. I felt Elara's anchor lock on, a lifeline in the storm. With a final desperate wrench, I ripped the keystone free and let her pull me back into the darkness. I woke up gasping on the cold floor of the data haven, the acrid smell of ozone in the air. Elara was kneeling over me, her face pale with worry. The crystal on her device was cracked, smoking slightly. "I have it," I rasped, the words tearing at my throat. "I have it." But there was no time for relief. The heavy thud of mag boots echoed from the entrance of the haven. They had found us. A whole squad of enforcers, led by a man in a pristine gray suit, his face a mask of cold fury. This was Director Valerius, the architect of the city's amnesia. "The thief and the librarian," he said, his voice smooth and dangerous. "You have stolen private property. Hand it over and I may be inclined to simply erase you. Quick, painless." Elara stood up, placing herself between me and Valerius. "The people of this city deserve to remember the truth, Director." Valerius laughed, a dry, empty sound. "The truth? The truth is a plague. It breeds discontent, anxiety, chaos. We gave them peace. We gave them happiness. And you want to ruin it all for the sake of some dusty, sentimental notion." He gestured to his enforcers. "Take it from him, and then clear the board." The enforcers advanced, pulse rifles raised. It was over. We were trapped. But as I lay there, the keystone thrumming in my mind, I realized something. I hadn't just copied it. I had integrated it. It was a part of me now. And I could feel its power, the founder's will, his unbreakable hope. "Elara," I said, pushing myself to my feet. "The EchoNet. Can you open a citywide broadcast channel through it?" She looked at me, confused, then her eyes widened in understanding. "It would take all the power we have. It would fry every system in this haven." "Just do it," I said, turning to face Valerius. As the enforcers closed in, I closed my eyes. I didn't focus on fighting them. I focused on the memory. I let it wash over me, not as a story, but as a feeling. I let the Founder's hope become my own. The first enforcer reached for me, and I opened my eyes and pushed, not with my hands, with my mind, with the raw psychic energy of the keystone. The enforcer was thrown back as if hit by a physical blow, his systems shorting out with a shower of sparks. The others hesitated, their visors flickering as they tried to process what had just happened. Valerius's smug expression finally cracked. "What are you?" he snarled. Behind me, I heard Elara cry out as a massive power surge lit up the room. Terminals exploded in showers of sparks. The air crackled with energy. "It's open, Kael!" she yelled over the din. "The channel is open!" I smiled. "I'm a Ghostwalker, Director," I said, "and it's time for this city to see a ghost." I closed my eyes one last time, and I didn't just push. I released. I broadcast the keystone memory, not as data, but as a feeling. I sent the city its own stolen heart. I sent it the memory of rain on real grass, the sight of an undimmed starry sky, the pain of loss, and the burning fire of hope. Across the city, millions of people stopped what they were doing. In their pristine apartments, their sterile offices, their curated parks. They felt it. A phantom limb they never knew they were missing, suddenly aching. A forgotten truth, blooming in their hearts like a defiant flower through concrete. The enforcers in front of me stumbled, clutching their heads as the raw, unfiltered humanity of the memory washed over their programming. Valerius screamed in rage and drew a sidearm, but it was too late. The spell was broken. The city was waking up. From our ruined data haven, we could hear the first faint sounds. A murmur, a shout, the distant, beautiful sound of a revolution being born. The fight for Aethelburg wasn't over. It had only just begun. But for the first time, in a long, long time, the city wasn't just dreaming. It was remembering. The story doesn't end there. Waking a city from a dream is one thing. Teaching it to live in the real world is another. The days that followed were a whirlwind of chaos and beauty. Omni-Gen's control shattered, but their infrastructure remained, a skeleton we now had to repurpose. Elara became the heart of the new council, her encyclopedic knowledge of the past becoming the blueprint for the future. And me? I was no longer just a thief. The keystone had changed me, left an echo of its power inside my mind. I became something new, a guardian of memories, a protector of the truth. My past as a lonely ghost was over. I had found a purpose, woven into the fate of this city and the life of the woman who had trusted me. We faced new threats, of course. Other corporations, circling like vultures to pick at Omni-Gen's corpse. Factions within the city who feared the painful truths of the past. The future is never a straight line. It's a tangled, messy, beautiful story that's still being written. And that's what we love to explore here. The stories that challenge us, the worlds that make us think, the characters that remind us what it means to be human, even in the most inhuman of circumstances. If you enjoyed this journey into the heart of Aethelburg, if you felt that spark of defiant hope, then make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next story we unearth. And in the